shots from both sides. It's gotten a little more erratic here, Jason. Cardiff, putting some passes together, but then seemingly losing their way. Stoke intercepting, and then the same happening to them. You can tell this is a relegation dogfight because it's gone from power and pace in the opening 15 minutes to definitely most mistakes, and nerves are showing now. Cardiff 0, Stoke 0.
Thank you, Molly. And to Fratton Park, nerves there as well. Paul Scott.
Yeah, 29 minutes on the clock. It's still goalless between Portsmouth and Derby. An entertaining contest, chances at either end. Pompey's best opportunity coming from the spot. Colby Bishop seeing his penalty saved. Derby somehow haven't taken the lead. Marcus Harness's cross-come shot against his former club. It sailed over the goalkeeper. It hit the underside of the crossbar, bounced down, hit the inside of the post, and somehow bounced out. It's still Portsmouth 0, Derby 0.
It's a great spot, and Stephen, I think it is a penalty.
Yeah, it is. Conor Cody's been punished for it. So as the shot comes in, he leans to his left-hand side, drops his left arm down, clearly comes off the forearm of Conor Cody. The referee went to the screen, I think prompted by VAR to go to the screen, and now it is an opportunity for João Pedro to score from the penalty spot.
This one should have gone to VAR because it was clear and obvious, and the referee did miss it. So, all doubts of VAR. I think they've got it right on this one.
Yeah.
And
it's a clear hand.
The end result is the correct result.
Yeah. We know what happens here, though.
Well, João Pedro is a very confident player, and I think it's just, the goalkeeper's doing everything he can here just to make things a little bit more difficult, slow the process down, try and put the player off, get him out of his comfort zone as much as he can. That's the job of the goalkeeper, to try and make it as uncomfortable as he can. But João Pedro, he's a very confident boy. The goalkeeper's now moaning about the ball not being on the spot, but
it's what we do. You've got to try and do everything to break the sort of process that João Pedro is wanting to have as smooth as possible.
Yeah, and here he comes.
Right footed.
Here he comes. Up steps João Pedro. 1-0.
Fully done.
Yeah, as easy as you like. Let's head back to Loftus Road and Mark Scott.
And it's 1 each. Bristol City from out of nothing, on terms. Max Bird with a lovely disguised flick into the penalty area, and George Earthy, just as cool with his finish, rolled beyond the dive of Nardi and in. Bristol City haven't really been in the game, but they're back all square. QPR 1, Bristol City 1.
Dundee United 1-0 up against St Johnstone. Had that fine win last week against Celtic in the Scottish Premiership. Let's go back to Vale Park in League 2. Tom Gale.
Where it's Port Vale 2, Bromley 0 now, Jason. The league leaders extending their advantage. It's Lauren Tolai. He had one earlier chalked off for offside. Not to denied this time around. It's a devastating counter. Croasdale gets to the byline, cuts it back to the penalty spot, and Vale's top scorer bags his 12th league goal of the season. Port Vale 2, Bromley 0.
Top of the league, they're looking good. Back to the Hawthorns. Sam Fletcher.
It's West Brom 1, Watford 0. Exactly the start they needed. West Brom boss, as he puts his thumb up to his players right now, believes that they can finish the season with 5 wins from 5 and in the playoffs. But they need to stay alert right now because Watford really have woken up after that goal. The goalkeeper, Josh Griffiths, had to make some really careful saves. The West Brom fans quite quiet at the moment, despite it being West Brom 1, Watford 0.
Any chances for Sunderland? Andy Sixsmith.
Says the least popular man in Wearside, Jace. Sunderland 0, Swansea 0, but Sunderland have had the best chance of the game. Tommy Watson, of course, heading to Brighton in the summer in that £10 million deal. He robbed Josh Key in the right-back position. Excellent turn inside. His shot was saved by Lawrence Vigouroux's leg. Momentum needed for Sunderland, but still 0-0.
And any goals, any chances at the Cardiff City Stadium for me? Molly Stevens.
Just missed one, actually. Kian Ashford, Jace, for Cardiff. Callum O'Dowd had delivered a teasing ball to the back post for Cardiff. It was met by Ashford on the stretch. He headed wide, and then again, a similar opportunity for him. Dispossesses a Stoke player inside the box. Couldn't get the turn right to be able to pop it in the back of the net. But I've got to say, Cardiff are looking bright. It's Cardiff 0, Stoke 0.
That's good news. And to Naz Premji, watching Luton Town, Blackburn Rovers.
Luton 0, Blackburn 0. Luton doing all the pressing. Milanic Ali could have scored inside the minute. He's had a couple of chances. Jordan Clark with a shot which thundered off a defender. Blackburn holding on. Thomas Kaminski's had very little to do in the home net. Luton 0, Blackburn 0.
Villa piling on the pressure. Chris Wise.
Yeah, they are. The ball's just bouncing inside the penalty area, Southampton's penalty area right now. They just cannot get out. Matson's got it left-hand side. Villa actually from a free kick, so they've still got centre-halves in the box as well. Here's Rashford shooting. Ugochukwu in the way to block it, but you can just see here, Saints are so deep. They are so pinned in by Villa at the moment, and Unai Emery will be hoping that they can take advantage of this spell of pressure. He's stood on the edge of his technical area now, hands hands on hips, stalking, watching, wishing that his Villa team can find a breakthrough, of course, with big thoughts of that Champions League quarter-final this week to come as well. Southampton 0, Villa 0.
Yeah, Leicester City under a lot of pressure now at the Amex. Andy Stevenson.
Yeah, they certainly are. Brighton can smell blood, I think, pushing for a second goal. They deservedly lead through that penalty from João Pedro. One other point to make, Conor Cody may be fortunate to escape with a yellow card for blocking that shot from Simon Adingra. He made his appeals to the referee, and the referee was potentially a little bit soft on him, but it's Brighton 1, Leicester 0.
And let's head back to the City Ground. Will Perry.
Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 0. Forest have upped it slightly and they needed to, but it's still a pretty stop-start game, this one at the City Ground. Jota Silva's hit a shot straight at Pickford and then headed a Hudson-Odoi cross into the England keeper's hands and down the other end, and Dye couldn't get on the end of a Broja knockdown in the 6-yard box. Nottingham Forest 0, Everton 0.
Thank you, Will. Let's head back to Aaron with the very latest news from the EFL.
Interesting one between Bristol City and QPR. City 1 defeat in 10, huge win for them. Nahki Wells with a late goal from midweek, and it was I got criticised somewhat by the Bristol City hierarchy for saying on 5 Live 72 Plus podcast that the Nahki Wells finish was ever so slightly lucky. It did take a bit of a deflection, went under the keeper. Sorry, Nahki, sorry.
Got in touch with you?
They're big listeners to the pod. Yeah.
Okay. And Nahki, by email or via?
No. I got a very Aggie WhatsApp from them. Nahki Wells potentially on 72 Plus next week as well. Fingers crossed. Anyway, straight into, by the way, on Bristol City, George Earthy on loan from West Ham United with the equaliser thereafter. Keita Dembele put Queen's Park Rangers ahead there into League One. I mentioned the situation at the bottom. Look, Shrewsbury Town absolutely miserable, but an equaliser in that game between themselves and Lincoln means that their relegation will be delayed for the moment. That situation though between Bristol Rovers and Burton Albion, it really is tense there. A loss for Bristol Rovers this afternoon will see them drop into the bottom 3, and Burton Albion just pushed their head above the dotted line for the first time in what feels like an absolute age, maybe even the first time this season. I have to check that stat for you and I'll bring it to you in a bit. The race of the playoffs is also interesting. Barnsley have been absolutely miserable. Darrell Clark relieved of his duties a couple of weeks. They're 2-0 up on Bolton Wanderers at the top end of League 2. And I've been calling for it all along, Jason, just someone to grab hold of this title race, and it feels as though Port Vale are doing just that. A full house at Vale Park, their side 2-0 up, probably very much enjoyed the fact that Wimbledon and Doncaster drew 1-1, and the fact that Doncaster now have 3 games in 7 days en route. It's tight, it's tense.
What a running that is. Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you. Venezia and Monza, the bottom 2 clubs in Serie A, meet today, and Daniel Fila has scored on 72. I wonder what his favourite tracksuit brand is.
Hey, good one.
Very good.
Possibly Tashini. Let's go to some areas. Chris Wise.